We have no prime. We are forever working on becoming the best version of ourselves. There is no final form, just a higher form. No finish line, just constant growth. Every season of life is going to demand a different version of us. And because we want to be the best version of ourselves, we're going to welcome those challenges. We're not here to peak. We're here to rise again and again, to shed old layers, to break old patterns, to unlearn what no longer serves us and step boldly into what does. This journey isn't about perfection, it's about progression. And as long as we are breathing, we will continue to elevate because our highest form isn't a moment in time, it's a lifelong mindset. Welcome to the HigherForm Podcast. This is something that we have been talking about for a very long time.
Yeah, it's been on our brains and in the works for a while, so it's cool to see it come to fruition here.
Yeah, it's kind of weird to think that we're actually sitting here doing this right now.
I know.
So
Yeah.
I think, as we get into this, it's going to be important to kind of establish what is higher form, who are we, why are we here? So that's a big part of what we'll focus on today, just kind of laying the groundwork for what to expect moving forward.
Just a big old introduction.
A big old introduction. That sounds about right. So what is higher form? I think just kind of get into this a little bit. This podcast is really built for people who want more out of life. And what that means, I think, can be very flexible and adaptable. Maybe that's something more fitness focused. Maybe it's more about your relationships. Maybe it's more about your career. Just coming from our background, which we'll obviously get into, we have had the opportunity to be in a lot of environments where we're surrounded by other people who have grown a ton and who have, really been around other growth-minded individuals. It's been kind of cool to see what it's done for us and what we can do for other people. And we want to just keep sharing that, right?
Yeah, and people who are doing more than us or at a different level than us. And so you're always learning something from those people. So I think it's important to share that information so everybody can elevate, right?
Yeah, for sure. And quick disclaimer, we're not perfect people. We are far from it.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
I am perfect.
She's perfect. I'm not. But with that, I think it's important too that that we're going to do our best to really be humble about where we've come from. And I think that'll feel pretty organic because we're definitely not showboaty type of people.
No, it's just realistic with our experiences in business and life thus far.
Yeah. And funny enough, early story, I think 5 to 10 years ago, our expectations around what becoming a higher form of yourself look like compared to where we're at now with how our lives have evolved.
Yeah.
And our roles together have evolved.
Yeah.
Well, it looks a lot different. You see this stuff on the internet about how the 25-year-old fitness influencer tells you, this is how you can fit everything you need to have the perfect day.
Well, and honestly, I've been there being a 25-year-old trying to tell, 35-year-old parents how to eat or how to train when you just have absolutely no idea what their day-to-day life is like.
Yeah.
So learning how to adapt in all aspects as you grow. Yeah.
For sure. Yeah. So who are we? I'm Nick. This is Britni.
I am Britni. I should have done that at the beginning.
We probably should have, but that's all good.
We're learning.
We're going to be figuring this out as we go.
It's a learning process for us.
But we met in 2016.
16. Yes.
So, obviously, maybe not obvious, we are husband and wife. We are parents.
Yeah.
We are business owners. We are people, individuals.
Yeah.
Sometimes it didn't feel like that with all the other roles we have.
I know.
But I think it's kind of important for you guys to understand how we met too, so you can kind of get a feel for why do we even feel like we have this platform and why is it something that we should even feel comfortable speaking on. So I always enjoy listening to you tell our story more.
Oh, okay. Okay, so we were both working at big box gyms. I guess Lifetime is where we were at. I was in Des Moines and you were in Kansas City. And at the time when you worked at Lifetime and you became a trainer there, you had to go through a certification, a Lifetime certification. And I had to come down to Kansas City for that regional certification. And Nick was the facilitator for it. And we kind of just hit it off when I was here in town, and it kicked off our relationship. I mean, ladies, I made the first move, so don't be shy. If you see what you want, go and get it.
For sure. I had no idea. I think Britni had our life planned out before I even knew that we were going to get together.
But when we did leave after, hanging out for those first few
For
days, I
sure.
was just like, oh yeah, that's it. When you just kind of, or you're like, this makes sense. So
Yeah.
anyway, we hit it off and ended up doing long distance for a little bit. And then I ended up moving to Kansas City, and now we're married and have children and dogs and a business and all the things. So, but that's our like early stage of like how we met. We were both in the, fitness industry,
Mm-hmm.
trainers. Nick was a little bit higher up at Lifetime, and I'll let you tell your side of that, but like working his way up the Lifetime ladder for a while
Yeah.
before things shifted. But um, our story was met in corporate fitness and hit it off from there. They say you meet somebody in the environments that you want to be in because obviously you're like-minded, and that made sense for us. So,
Correct. It's
yeah.
been a long time since either one of us have dated, so we certainly won't be giving dating
Yeah,
advice.
absolutely not. I have no idea how to date in today's day and age.
Yeah, things have changed in the post-pandemic era in
Yeah.
the dating world.
Yeah.
But if there's ever been a good place to meet somebody, if you're somebody who wants to, or not wants to, I guess, prioritizes health and fitness, like put yourself in that environment, and guess
Yeah.
what? You'll find other people there who
Yeah,
prioritize the same things.
for sure. Yeah.
So that's about as far as the dating advice goes. But
Yeah. You will not be getting dating advice with us.
that is not what this podcast is about. But the rest of our story from there, I mean, gosh, we did move in together pretty quickly. But like she said, when you know, you know. It didn't take me long to get on board. I joke around how she had it figured out before me, but
Yeah.
it was certainly a mutual thing. And moved into an apartment. You started working at a.
I
You're actually waiting tables for a little bit.
Yeah,
Part of hustling
bar
to become a higher form is doing what you got to do to get
bartending
by.
and waitressing, which
Yep.
I did in college a little bit too, and until I kind of established what I wanted to do after moving here to Kansas City, because I did not stay with Lifetime. I mean,
Sure. Yeah.
I ended up going like the medically supervised kind of weight loss route for a few years, working in a private practice and helping people clinically with weight loss, and found, learned a lot, but ended up deciding like, that's obviously not what I wanted to do forever.
Mhm.
Before you and I decided to pull the trigger on creating what is now Avexia Health and Performance.
So really more on how we got where we are today, I guess.
Yeah.
A lot of that early stage time together was establishing our personal life more than our like business and future life together, right?
Yeah.
Moved in together in 2017, early 2017, bought a house in 2018,
Got married in
got married in
2019,
2019,
had our first
had a
child in,
pandemic in 2020.
yeah, had our first child in 2021 and 2023.
Yep.
Yeah.
And somewhere in there, 2020 is when we branched out away from the jobs that, at least I branched out away from where I was at before to create the LLC and what we originally kind of like thought Avexia might be.
Mm-hmm.
Avexia means wellness in Greek, by the way. That's the name of our business,
Mm-hmm.
where we get a chance to professionally help people. This won't be about the business so much as it will be about our beliefs and our mindset, right?
Obviously, our business is, we impact our business with our beliefs and our mindset. So this
Correct.
is just another avenue of sharing our thoughts and our ideas and our conversations
Yep.
with what we help people with.
100%. And
Yeah.
so, yeah, in 2022, we were like, hey, let's pull the trigger and really like do this business thing for real. First, it was self-employed. I had become my own boss, and it's just me and the business. Brittany came on board, and then in 2022, we're like, let's like become real business, brick and mortar business owners.
Mm-hmm.
And that's probably a story for another day. But
Yeah, a lot goes into that.
yeah, that's a long one. But back to higher form. What is higher form? So it when I think of higher form, I think of it like a mindset. It's a mentality. It's a way of living. It's a belief system. And I think you can speak to who we're really speaking to, how, and like how that really comes to life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's like you're always evolving and adapting, and you want to continually find your highest form of yourself, of your career, of your relationships, of your life. So, trying to find your higher form in all aspects involves a lot of different things. And that's kind of why we liked it and came up with it and felt like it was a great all-inclusive way of thinking.
Correct.
Yeah.
And who we're really speaking to will come to life as we really just lay out this belief system. And it's been interesting to kind of think about like how do we really like launch what this means, right?
Yeah.
I think the best way I can sum it up is saying if you are someone who is an aspiring high performer in any aspect of your life, and that doesn't mean you have to actually identify as somebody who is a high performer now. If
Maybe you want to be.
Maybe you want to be, right? Like you don't have to be someone who's got all the success, you have the health, the wealth, the family, the business, all those things. But if you aspire to be a better version of yourself, you're probably going to like some of the things that we talked about.
Yeah, for sure.
And one thing that I felt like was necessary for us to really make it clear around the mindset, the belief behind this is really just kind of laying out really like the higher form statement, I guess you could call it. So I want to run through that and just kind of share, what we've come together to make it feel like if this resonates with you, then this is going to be the exact place for you to become the highest form of yourself.
Yeah.
So the belief system is that we have no prime. We are forever working on becoming the best version of ourselves. There is no final form, just a higher form. No finish line, just constant growth. Every season of life is going to demand a different version of us. And because we want to be the best version of ourselves, we're going to welcome those challenges. We're not here to peak. We're here to rise again and again, to shed old layers, to break old patterns, to unlearn what no longer serves us and step boldly into what does. This journey isn't about perfection, it's about progression. And as long as we are breathing, we will continue to elevate because our highest form isn't a moment in time, it's a lifelong mindset. Boom.
Love it.
So yeah, that's it. And it's hard to explain, right? Thank you, AI, for helping me organize that. I don't run away from the reality of using that.
We use AI every day in our business.
Correct. I think what's interesting about that too is not to get on too far of a side topic here, but we could probably have a whole episode. Maybe we'll have a whole episode on
for sure.
how we use AI to help us become the highest form of ourselves
In life and in business.
It's a leverage thing, right? Like with so much going on in the world today, it's hard to stay focused and to really interpret all of the different things that come across our plate in our mind and our ears. A lot of noise. So I found that it's nice to be able to have that feedback to kind of just organize my thoughts and be like, you know what? That's exactly what I was trying to say, but I could not say it myself.
Yeah. Summarizes things easily for you.
Right?
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the evolution of this. Obviously, as we work into these episodes, we will become a higher form of podcasters.
Yeah, we'll learn along the way.
How many podcasts have you been on?
I mean, just a few, honestly.
I can count on one or two hands.
One hand, probably. Yeah.
I've had an opportunity to be on a few more than you, but not much.
Yeah.
But
we listen to a lot of podcasts.
We listen to a lot of podcasts. Yeah. I'm sure that could be a whole nother episode.
Yeah.
Who else you should listen to?
Yeah, right.
One of the things we thought would be kind of fun during this episode is to, like I said, give you a big old introduction.
Yeah, a little background on who we are and, if we relate to you or if something resonates with you so we can connect. I think it's hard to find people to connect with in today's day and age. So this is just another way to do it.
For sure. You want me to interview you first or you want to do it the other way around?
I don't care. I'll interview you first.
Great. Let's go.
Okay. We have a couple quick hitter questions just so you can kind of give your little spiel. But how long have you been working in the fitness industry?
Since 2013. Technically 2012. I started working at the Kansas State University Rec Center when I was playing football there and studying exercise science.
But you're probably just a front desk person, right? So
I
you
was
weren't
not
really
checking
working
people
in the
in.
industry.
I was a weight room attendant,
Okay.
which held a pretty high responsibility of cleaning when you felt like it was necessary
Gotcha.
and spotting and conversing and talking a little bit of trash.
Okay.
So yeah, it was a big deal. But no, I grew up in a weight room, so I've always been in the fitness space.
And your dad lifted weights growing
Yeah,
up.
I remember literally being at the gym playing with toys while he was getting his workout in. So I was in the environment growing up, and then I think that I started lifting weights in middle school. And I had a conversation with a client about this morning, how it's crazy when you look back at the things that were defining moments for you in your own life. And fitness has always helped me through those defining moments. We moved schools a decent amount when I was young.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be quick hitters. They're not going to be
Yeah,
quick hitters.
not just a FYI. Nothing with Nick is a quick hitter, which is why a podcast is a great outlet for
It
us
is 100% a
and for
great outlet.
you more specifically.
I like to think that I'm thorough. That's probably a good way to put it.
Yeah, you do go down rabbit holes here and there though,
It's all
so
right.
I'll
Some
be
of
the
them
one
are worth
to
it.
whip you back into the
That is
into the
100% why
now.
she's here. That is her role in our life, is to keep me within my boundaries.
Yes. So you've been in the fitness industry since about
Since 2013, I guess we're going to cut that one off. On to the next.
Yes.
Yep.
What experience do you have? Like how did you go from starting out to obviously owning a business now? Like what's the general timeline of kind of your progression?
Yeah. 2012, weight room attendant. 2013, I graduated from K-State with an exercise science degree. I studied pre-physical therapy. I had some severe knee injuries and other injuries that were an extension of that through my college career. And I had a really good experience with a physical therapist. My parents, at least my stepmom and my dad, were in the medical industry. And so I always liked the idea of helping people with something health related. I think I looked more clinical on the front end of it. And then the more I got into that environment for shadowing and the rest of it, it just really didn't appeal to me.
Yeah.
So, and then from there, getting into kind of looking at what different directions I could go, not going to physical therapy school. I wanted to leave Manhattan and get somewhere where there was more people. I always lived in small
You wanted
towns.
to leave the middle of Kansas?
The middle
No
of
way.
Kansas is not the most entertaining place to be, especially when you're young and aspiring and you want to learn. You know, I've always appreciated being in environments where I wasn't the smartest one in the room and I could learn from other people. Like we talked about earlier, like we've come a long ways by looking up to other people and trying to follow best practices from them. So when I found Lifetime, it's this big, beautiful gym. I'm like, all right, cool. I'm going to go check this place out.
Yeah.
It felt like a place that I could grow in. So I started there. I was a trainer for a year or so. A lot of the leadership qualities and expectations you have as a Division I athlete set you up for success after sports, which is why I think all of our culture and our business is around athletes, because
Every single one of our coaches at Avexia has been an athlete.
yeah.
Yeah.
And it's because that mindset is unique. That's the HigherForm mindset,
Yeah.
right? The athlete's mindset.
Yeah.
And it gave me an opportunity to succeed in leadership roles early. I've always believed that if there's an opportunity to fix something and no one else is going to do it, then like I'm going to give it a shot and run at it myself. So did that a lot early. I became an assistant manager, kind of climbed new roles every year that I was there. Got into club management, regional education and development at the coach level, at the manager level. Got a chance to dabble into some big corporate stuff too.
Yeah.
And then the pandemic swung through. And after 7 years chasing the corporate carrot, I decided it was time to kind of try something on my own after getting furloughed. And then from there, man, it felt like I started all over again.
Yeah.
In 2020, we freelanced. We flipped our garage into a gym.
Just building it from scratch.
Yeah, build it from scratch. Got a chance to see what the industry outside of corporate fitness looked like, and just kind of like put the pieces together until 2022. From there, obviously, we started the rest of the Avexia journey.
Yeah.
And that was training out of a garage, training out of a shared space, leasing our first gym, having to move from our first gym due to city construction logistics, and finally settling in where we're at now with a team of 7 of us and having helped hundreds, if not thousands of people over the last decade plus.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. Well, thank you for your background.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you're welcome.
So just a little bit more in-depth questions, just kind of get your mindset on where you're at with some of these things is what's shaped your views on performance and growth over the years?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think a lot of it has been on trying to set goals and stay focused on that balance of enjoying the moment, but also wanting more. I'm not the type of person, as you know really well, but you guys will learn, that sits still and gets complacent.
Yeah.
I like to be doing and achieving and growing. And I read a quote this morning as I was doing my morning scroll that talked about it was like a complacent man is a dying man or something like that, where it's like, if you're not growing, you're not getting better, you're getting worse, I guess the best way to put it.
Yeah.
And staying growth minded from an early stage has definitely been the foundation of that. But the opportunity to change and can keep performing at different levels of growth has really been in investing in skills from other people.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of money on mentorship,
Yeah.
like a lot more than I ever thought I would.
Well, takes money to make money, obviously age old quote, but it's real.
Yeah, it's not a famous quote for no reason.
Yeah, exactly.
And I think doing the work, right? It's easy to go out once again in today's day and age, and we'll talk more about this in future episodes, but it's easy to go out today's day and age and get all the information and read all the books and listen to a new podcast every week. But if you don't actually apply these things,
Yeah.
you don't make progress.
Yeah.
And I think just to kind of sum that up, like the things that I've learned that have allowed me to perform better and grow better are, one, looking out and being aligned with where I really want to go. Two, investing in the skill set and learning from people that I know or trust can get me there. And then showing up and doing the work.
Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, you just have to do it.
You just got to get it done.
Yeah, that makes sense. What is one habit or mindset that you've had to work hard on to get where you are now? Like maybe something that you've had to
Develop
or change.
I'd say like perseverance or resilience, like just sticking with it, because it's been hard.
Yeah.
It's been really difficult at times, and hard is a contextual word that applies, or that there's like people see things like being hard at different levels, and
Yeah.
it applies differently because everybody's got shit that they have to deal with,
Yeah.
But
So we can cuss on this podcast.
yes, we
Okay.
can. Is that the first time we broke the
I think
barrier?
so.
Dang.
Just making it, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
all
we can
good.
bleep it out if we need to,
No,
but
we're good.
I think we'll let it
I
ride.
think it's natural.
We're humans.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. And we certainly do not keep anti-potty mouths at home.
Correct.
Yeah. So
We do our best.
we do our best.
But
Yeah, perseverance, resilience. I think it's just like staying focused and not letting my emotions drive my actions. That's always
too
been
long.
for too long, right? Obviously, we're going to have a response and we deserve to respond, but how we handle that response is a big piece of it. And
yeah.
there's been a lot of things that we've expected to be challenging, and then there's been a lot of things that we weren't expecting that were really challenging.
Yeah, for sure.
So just being able to stick with it and believe. The old Ted Lasso thing. I feel like we need to get that slapped up on the gym somewhere.
Yeah.
But that's definitely it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah. What lights you up most about coaching people? Obviously, we didn't get here if you didn't enjoy helping people, coaching people, teaching people.
Mm-hmm.
What lights you up?
I think it's being able to reciprocate the things that have helped me, both as an athlete, as a trainer, as a coach. I had people that have been instrumental in my growth and have poured into me, and to see how far someone can go when they just get support and guidance and structure.
Yeah.
It's cool to be on the other end of that, and it's super rewarding because I know how powerful some of the experiences I've had with other people were for me, and to be able to turn around and apply that in our business, both with, not just with clients, but with team members, even more so now since we aren't as member facing or client facing anymore.
Yeah.
And even with our boys too, like becoming a dad, like that's been cool too, is how can I feel like I'm a coach to them, and
Yeah, in a sense, yeah.
and I think it's just being able to help people shape a better future for themselves, which is why this podcast made so much sense.
Yeah.
Because it feels like an extension of me being able to coach, but the long-winded version of it.
These are just brain dumps for you, really.
They're great brain dumps for me. Yeah, hopefully collectively it'll all come together, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, cool. You got any more questions for me?
No, I think those were some nice, deep, insightful answers.
Okay.
So thank you.
Cool. Well, you're on the hot seat now.
Okay.
Quick hitter. Probably much more quick than mine will be. We'll see. How long have you been working in the fitness industry?
I've been in the industry since 2014. I got my degree in nutrition dietetics, decided I didn't want to go the RD route because I didn't want to work in the clinical setting like hospitals and do that whole situation. Anyone who's went through that understands what that's like. And I decided I wanted to be more on the preventative front and kind of in the fitness side of things. So I ended up getting certified as a personal trainer. I did a couple bodybuilding shows, did a little bit of powerlifting, kind of dabbled in all the different avenues of the fitness industry. until I kind of got, I wouldn't say got bored of them, but found a lack of long-term sustainable health with them. And so that led me to just kind of training and just finding a way to help people just live a better life and feel better, right? When I started at Lifetime, obviously I wasn't there for very long because I met you and then moved to Kansas City and kind of switched gears and went more the clinical route for a few years, like the medical practice route, I guess you could say. And then after that, it was when we kind of created Avexia, we were like, let's just tie all the things together that we believe in, the way we believe people should be eating and taking care of themselves and training and their lifestyle habits. And within that time frame, I obviously was interested in pregnancy. So I got postnatal certified. So I felt comfortable, one, going into my own pregnancies, knowing that we were going to have children one day. And I just liked the idea of helping women during that phase, which also brought me to, I was a client of Pilates for a while, for about a year, year and a half before I ended up getting certified myself because I was like, well, I want to know how to do this. I didn't want to have to rely on a teacher teaching me. I wanted to know how to do it. And so I kind of went that route. So I was able to support myself prenatal, postpartum, and beyond, and people who are not even in that phase because those things are obviously beneficial for everybody too. But yeah, that's kind of like 2014 to now, just the path that led me to where we are in terms of my experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's cool because I feel like your personal experience has guided your professional experience.
Yeah. Yeah.
And now that you've gotten a chance to utilize all of that, it puts you in a position where you can actually like lean into it more confidently in the way that you guide other people.
Yeah.
Would you say, yeah, because we've talked about this the other day, I feel
Yeah,
like.
yeah. I was like, I got certified as a postnatal coach, but I was like, I don't know that I'm comfortable helping people through this because I haven't experienced it. Now, that doesn't make me not able to, but personally, I was like, I just don't know what somebody's maybe going through or what it feels like. And so to have done both now, obviously got the education behind it and has experienced it, it's nice to be able to like see it from kind of all angles, if you will.
For sure.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
What you kind of hit like what experience you have as you've gone through all of that.
Yeah. Yeah. That was,
You beat me to the punch there,
I
but
just
that's
kind of
all
looped it all into one.
good. No, that's all good.
I summarize. I'm not quite as good as AI, but I'll summarize as much as I
Hey,
can.
the best version I've found. So, well, cool. We're not going to be like, let me ask you the same questions you asked me. What about your turn? Like
Yeah.
those fun little get to know you cards where it's like, well, not you. You answer the same questions. We're going
Yeah.
to switch it up a little bit here.
Sounds good.
What are the things that have helped you feel like yourself again? Obviously, you've gone through different phases in your life personally and professionally. I think that you'll find that Brittany will be the one who is more of the relatable voice here. Not that I won't bring some of that, but I think there are a lot of people can relate to your journey and where you're at in your own evolution and becoming your highest form.
Yeah. Honestly, as most other mothers probably know, after having children, you go through a phase of not really knowing who you are or who you were before and who you are becoming. So I think I'm still trying to evolve who I am as now a mother of two. I mean, at first you have one and then you have another, and it's like, okay, things change again. And so I think I'm still evolving into who I want to be or who I am and trying to find myself again, which is okay. And I think you're always evolving, but I don't think that's a simple answer because I feel like I'm continually trying to figure out who it is I want to be and who I am and the things that I want to do to get there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In that like process of evolving and trying to figure out like what you can do to, keep finding that next best version of yourself. What's something that maybe you've had to let go of that used to stress you out more, or how has that evolution come to life in regards to like your viewpoints, your approaches, the way that you look at things?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think the biggest relatable thing is like not being so strict with like keeping up with things at home in terms of the dishes, the laundry. I mean, we're constantly picking clean clothes out of a basket because we just haven't put them away yet. Or going to bed before the kitchen's totally picked up. Now, don't get me wrong, I would love if that were to happen, but there's certain things where you're just like, I have to give that up for the sake of my mental well-being so I can manage this or that more, depending on what was going on that evening. Maybe we got home late and, I think being so strict about everything.
Yeah.
But those are like examples that I think make sense. Yeah.
Yeah. No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And when you start to look at like how you would recommend taking these things that you've learned and applying them for someone else, especially to women who could relate to you,
Yeah.
what would you want someone listening to this to hear from your story? Like if you were to take some of your experience and then flip that into your own version of coaching and guiding and leading other people, what message do you have for those?
I would say that you don't have to have it all figured out all the time.
What?
I know.
It doesn't have to be perfect.
Shocker. But I think, especially as moms and women, we want to handle things. We want to be the one to manage all the things about the home life, the kids, whatever. And again, to an extent, you're going to have to give something up. It's not always going to be perfect. You're going to continue ebbing and flowing with what takes priority in your life. And that's okay. And you can wake up the next day and try again or try something different or be better about this or that. And every day is not going to be perfect. You're not going to check everything off your to-do list every day as much as you maybe want to. And I mean, I still battle with that. I'm like, I didn't get to this today. And it's like, okay, I got to these 5 other things though. So that's okay, So I think it's okay to not be perfect every day or do all the things every day that you want to do as much as you want to do them.
Yeah. Well, it's like that perfectionist mindset is something that I think a lot of people who aspire to be higher performers
for sure
run into. And it's like, I want to accomplish this. I want to get this done. I want to do these things.
Yeah.
But I can't be hard on myself if I don't make all that progress in that moment.
You can only do so much in a day. And that's not like an excuse, but like logistically, you truly can only get so much done. And so you just have to prioritize, what are the things that either can wait for the next day or aren't as high of a priority.
Yeah. And to anyone who's listening who can't relate to the mom story,
I
look at this from a male's perspective where it's like, I have this innate instinct while you maybe are more on the nurturing and taking care of the family and the home and making sure that you're playing the mom role. I think on the other side of it as a man, like you feel this desire to protect and provide, but also this pull to still be present. And that's difficult in this world, in this day and age. So we will definitely talk more about how balance is not perfect in future episodes.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where I think you have to be kind to yourself, but disciplined enough to make sure that you're still moving the needle.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, if you have a goal or an ambition in life, like you still got to be going towards it, but don't be hard on yourself if not every day is perfect.
Yeah.
Summarized it up for you.
That's right. Appreciate that. There it is. And that pretty much wraps it up for episode 1. Like we said, today was really meant to be a big old introduction per Britni's words.
A little bit about me, a little bit about Nick, a little bit about, why we created the HigherForm podcast and brand, and just kind of giving you a little peek behind the curtain of what's to come.
Cool. So a couple of quick notes before we call it quits for the day. I think the biggest thing that we wanted to leave it on is just that this will evolve. It isn't like we are preaching about evolving yourself. I think that you'll find this will evolve from our perspective too. So if you're someone who's tuning in today and you are struggling with something in particular, or you want to hear us talk about how we or other people who are maybe even further along the line than we are finding ways to be successful in today's day and age and today's society, we would love to hear from you.
Yep.
You can email us. You can message us. We are on Instagram at HigherForm Podcast. We will be able to find these videos on YouTube and our Avexia KC or Avexia Health and Performance channel.
Yeah.
We're also on the HigherForm Podcast Facebook page. Any of those ways, reach out. We'd love to connect. That is 100% what we're here for, is to bridge our personal life and what we do professionally to get in touch with more people and impact others.
Yeah, just have conversations about a variety of things that help people find connection in today's day and age on support where they need it.
Correct. And if you are in the KC area, quick plug, and you're looking for somebody to help you out professionally, whether that's providing you structure around exercise and nutrition, healthy lifestyle, this is what we do professionally. And while this isn't a podcast about just doing that, we found that one of the things that is the biggest impact of what we do professionally is how it impacts other people in all aspects of life. We'd love to help you out, whether that's just a conversation or having you come in and chat, even if you're not in the KC area. But I think it's safe to say we're excited to keep diving in.
Yeah. Looking forward to more conversations.
Awesome. Well, if you are someone who is looking to become the best version of yourself in any context of life, be sure to tune into the next episode of the HigherForm Podcast. We'll catch you then.